Hello and welcome back to Rage Gaming and more Monster Hunter Wilds for Title Update 1. Today and this time we're talking Arena. All things to do with the challenges, the monsters that exist, the rewards, and the different armor sets that do exist with interesting skills, a unique gear set bonus, and the pretty decent consumable rewards that you can get from it all. I'll be providing information and advice to help you along the way, so let's just get into it. From here we head down the main corridor and then we have the arena counter. On the left you have the usual quest counter, but on the right we have Ricardo with the actual arena stuff. So we have three types, one of which has nothing right now. So we have Arena Quest, which is Rathian and Chatacabra, free challenge, which does not exist yet, but when Arch Tempered comes in, this should be available. And then the Challenge Quest. So what's interesting about this is that you're going to want to do these two hunts, Rathian and Chatacabra, to unlock the new armor pieces and new earrings. All of the rewards for that actually come from these two. Absolutely none of that comes from this Dashagam hunt. And you can check the rewards easily before you ever do it. So under Quest Info, we can go to the rewards and see what's actually available. So from the Rathian one, we've got Rathian coins, Pinnacle coins. Meanwhile, from Chatacabra, you got Chata coins and Pinnacle coins. Then the four other rewards, which are interesting. From these hunts, you can get life powder max potions, which are nice. We can actually get jeweled mullet row and pick a meal vouchers. But what are those? Jeweled Mullet Row are the swimmer meal perk, and this is really nice to see. It increases your attack when wet, so you're actually going to get a lot of benefit out of this in surprisingly large amount of areas. It provides more consistent DPS increase than even the Airy Egg, which is really good when it activates, but it's so unreliable and for the period that it activates so short, that at this point it feels better to do something that's going to be more impactful, like increasing your iframes, or helping your stamina depending on the weapon. Either way, basically, it's a really nice way to get a little bit more damage by making use of any water around yourself. So having a way to farm this specific ingredient is surprisingly nice. Meanwhile, we have those new meal vouchers, which were introduced in Title Update 1, and you can use them here at the canteen in the Gathering Hub. If you select the menu, you can see that it allows you to specifically choose what kind of meal you want from any of the feasts, which provide you increased attack, defense, and element resistance, as we know, compared to eating regular meals, so that alone is worth it. Then they have the food skills. The ones that I think are going to be most relevant are Carver Meal, which you get from the Azus Meal, which allows you to get an extra carve occasionally, and things like Capture Pro Meal to benefit more from your captures. But ultimately, if you're farming materials for the first time, such as getting your first Mizu set, or you want to get a load of, say, Shia gear, the Azus Meal is actually going to be a great pick. So you can get the meal vouchers for the specific tribe, or you can do pick a meal vouchers, meaning if you do arena and farm these out, you have the guaranteed feast that you're looking for. So the rewards are pretty damn nice. Let's highlight the gear that you get though, and where it comes from. There are technically 4 sets that are rewarded from the arena right now, from the Chatacabra and Rathian hunt specifically. We have the Guild Cross in A, we have the Clerk A in the masculine and feminine form, then we have the earrings, Gorman's earrings, and then the earrings of dedication. Let's take a look what they provide, outside of the fashion that's obviously really nice to have. The Guild Cross set is not great. What you have is bind resistance, earplugs, and flinch free, with pretty mediocre slots. Here we have earplugs from resistance, more flinch free, just a variety of these general stuff. There's nothing meta relevant about this, so unfortunately they're not going to be great outside of fashion. But they do come with a set bonus, which deserves a mention. It's Glorious Favor. By wearing 3 pieces of this gear, you will activate Luck, which as it states, increases quest target rewards. So at the end of the hunt, you're going to get more rewards, more materials, and if you're farming stuff out, that's a hopeful idea. The problem here is that you'd need to wear 3 of this very irrelevant, not DPS helping at all set, especially when you think back to the feast thing we just talked about. We're getting carving bonuses anyway from something that doesn't sacrifice your DPS at all, and arguably is great for it. However, what's exciting is the way that Glorious Favor spreads out across the other sets. So let's take a look at the Clerk set. This has a new skill, Palico Rally, and it powers up your Palicos. So all the way at level 5, we can increase Palico attack power and defense by 25%. Josh has been known to do silly builds where, he's got the immortal builds, right? But then also, say back in Rise, we had builds for Palamute and Palico dealing all the damage and you just watch. So through this, I'm sure he's rubbing his hands together. So you could potentially mix and match 3 pieces of different sets and get Glory's favor. But overall, you're not going to wear this set for active fighting unless you're doing something fun with Palico Rally. So what about the earrings? Again, also these come with Glory's favor, so they count towards that, but it's only going to be the helm slot, right? So Gorman's earring is actually really good. You get 2 levels of free eating and free meal. This is a great way to access that. Meanwhile, you have earrings of dedication, which is wide range. 4 levels of it. You could equip just this earring and achieve almost full wide range without much sacrifice. If you're looking to do some sort of supportive playstyle, maybe like with the Rathian hunting horn and you're healing and helping your team, this would be great for that. Maybe you run S&S and use a bunch of items with wide range. You know, the classic ideas of that. And it'll be that set bonus for Glory's favor. Overall, I wouldn't recommend it. I think the DPS loss is too much no matter what way you swing it. But on the bright side, it does give us some new fashion options. You know, 2 sets to look at, the masculine and feminine version of Clerk as well as Guild Cross, the returning set. Anyway, if you're interested, the Guild Cross set will come from defeating Chatacabra and getting Chatter coins. The earrings of dedication come from Rathian and getting Rathian coins. And then you have the Clerk set, which is a combination of Rathian and Chatacabra. And then the Gorman's earring is actually just Chatter. So most of this comes from Chatacabra in a way. But then you also have the Pinnacle coins, which come from either hunt. So let's talk about the actual arena quests themselves and the rewards you can get and how. Let's start with the arena quests. We have Chatacabra. If we take a look at again at the rewards, you can see you get the Chatter coin and Pinnacle coin. As you can see, there is a time ranking for your arena quests. You're looking to get A. So in the case of Chatacabra, you look for a under 3 minutes and 30-second kill. This is going to help your ranking, but technically you can get the rewards even without doing that and just getting something like a B rank. But it is a fun personal challenge to say the least. You'll also note at the bottom right that we have available weapons. So there's Greatsword Hunting Horn, Longsword Lance, Dual Blades Light Bowgun. This means that these are the only weapons you can use for this Chatacabra hunt. If we actually go into it, you can see that it's going to give me this menu. So we have the Greatsword set, which is using a lot of udra and zuwu. It's coming with the Hope weapons, so the basics of critical eye and speed sharpening and just green sharpness. In this, we can also see that I'll be given Rocksteady Mantle to work with. And it's the same for the Hunting Horn set, except obviously now a Hunting Horn. Then we have the Longsword and Lance set, which is wearing a lot of Ray Dow, it looks like. This one has the Mending Mantle by comparison. Having a look at what you're actually going to get might help out. But you go even further on this. You can press R1 in this case to look at what items you're going to be given. So we've got potions, mega potions, rations, max potions, and paralysis knives. So we're actually able to throw these and get a free para in this hunt, which could help Greatsword get a true charge slash in for free. But it's different per set. So with this set, for some reason, you also get a pitfall trap for free DPS. What about this one? Well, you don't get anything, apparently. Screw you, apparently. Strange. Once you're actually in the arena, if it's not going well, you don't have to return from the quest and then redo the whole thing. If you're happy to go again with the same set that you went in, what you can do is just retry the quest. This will reset it, reload it, and you'll load in again fully fresh and just get at it straight away. If you feel like you're confident you can do it, but something just went wrong, I'd strongly recommend this rather than the faff of returning from quest. But if it's going wrong and you want to try a totally different set that's not like the second weapon of this one, then yeah, return. Now back when you're looking at the menu, don't forget you have other options too. There's other tabs. So if you want to just consider the monster and quickly see what's breakable, what the weaknesses are, the status and the element, you can do that here, no problem. I think it's a very good idea to check these things and get familiar with these systems so you can be certain about what you want to run and how. When we get into the harder challenge quests, like the Deshagama one, it really does change. Here, we start to see a kind of build in play, and they're encouraging you to play it that way. For example, let me look at the Lance and Hunting Horn one of the Deshagama Hunt. This set is about heroics. We can look at the skills and see that we've got 2 levels of it. So as I go low health with this set, I'm going to get more damage. And they're doing quite a few things to help with that. So when I look at my items, you can see that I've got Might Seeds and Adamant Seeds to increase my output, especially when I'm low health with heroics, but also Adamant Seed to reduce the damage that I'm taking while I'm low. Not to mention we've got Rocksteady Mantle, which don't forget was buffed for Title Update 1. You take even less damage while it's on. So the idea here to maximize this land set is to activate heroics by letting yourself go low, and then keep popping Adamant Seeds and maximizing your Rocksteady Mantle to do the best DPS you can while you're low health. If we look at the Greatsword and Heavy Bowgun set by comparison, this has Evasion Mantle. And with that being buffed too in this patch, you want to make the most of that. So you'd intentionally, even though you're a Greatsword, land a perfect evade, and then enjoy the buff of evasion mantle for a while before you need to think about it again to maximize the DPS of this set. If we look at, say, the insect glaive and the bow in this case, again, same thing. This is a poison setup with the insect glaive and bow. So with the insect glaive, we have critical status and poison attack, poison duration up. So we want to activate that poison as soon as possible because it's going to deal quite a lot of damage in this context. Not only that, we have foray, so we're getting that perk while it's poisoned. Same thing for the bow, just slightly different setup. So with the bow, you'd want to activate those poison coatings, get the poison activated as soon as possible, and maintain it for the duration of the hunt, so you're doing maximum DPS in this set. So take a look at this stuff, consider your options, look at the items, what can you do, when can you use it. That's how you're going to not just reach A ranks, but push the best times you can. And I mentioned earlier that the rewards for the gear actually come from Rathian and Chatacabra. What's actually coming from the challenge quest? Well, you're also getting pinnacle coins here, but you're getting armor sphere pluses for the upgrading of your gear. You know, one of the best sources of that is, say, the bounties, but it's nice to have a consistent way to farm them now through this quest. You can also get max potions, demon drug, and the all-important eastern honey, the ingredient for cooking that means you're actually going to increase the healing you get. And so having an infinite way to farm it, actually really nice. Further, you've got pick a mill voucher and steel melding ticket. That will help reduce the cost of your melding for your decorations, since for some reason they made that more expensive. But yeah, a demon drug farm as well. Amazing. So if you're worried about the sets, don't think about Deshagama, but do think about farming this for all the useful consumables that it actually provides. Be aware that for the conditions of the hunts as well, though, you can do up to 2 players, and this allows support hunters, which is interesting. You may find that that helps you losing the aggro if you're trying to solo it, but you can do it with a friend or someone online if you're willing. And don't forget, we can always go to the expedition record board, check your limited bounties. There are new arena bounties that you can be doing. And we can look at the rankings to take a look at how things are going and, you know, how fast are people actually killing these quests. Let's take a look at Deshagama. How quickly are people killing Deshagama? Oh, under 10 seconds. Which is the time it took them to reach the monster. So much for the whole anti-cheat thing and them taking that seriously. Although it does seem like they are consistently banning people for this. It is crazy that we didn't even get like 1 hour into it before so many cheaters. It's a shame to see. And I hope that it gets ironed out eventually, if that's even possible. But there you have it. That's my overview of all things Arena, the launch version of Title Update 1. We know more is coming with the Raydao and Arch-Tempered quest, and we can expect fresh updates in the future too for the arena. I think it's a system that they want to take seriously. So get comfortable with it, and maybe learn a new weapon or two. Having 4 or 5 weapons that you're very comfortable and confident with, it's going to go a long way. If you guys have any extra tips for arena, then let us know in the comments. But until next time, I've been Hollow, you've been you, and thanks for watching.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.